Anyway, morning everybody. It's 71 degrees as you head out the door. It's a rather mild morning. Temperatures are going to be very summer-like over the next couple of days. There you see our humidity. It's getting very high right now, so we are picking up a little fog, most of it inland. We got up to 88 yesterday, and we'll be right about there through the next 7 to 10 days. As I mentioned a while ago, here we are in the city doing well, but in the Beeville area and down 281 to Alice, we're getting a little bit of fog inland. So far, visibility at the airport 10 miles also at NAS. Looks like even Kingsville is beginning to pick up some of that fog as well. So inland areas are cooling down a little bit further. That's why they're getting the fog. Here at the beaches, we're not having that problem. Now, as I mentioned, the hot weather has really turned the corner. I mean, it really started, took over gangbusters, and now not only are we at summer-like temperatures, but we're having some heat waves. As I mentioned yesterday, this is like the 5th day that they've had 99 to 100 degree temperatures in the Panhandle. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they're in an extreme drought up in the Panhandle. Number four, they were about to start planting season, and I guess a lot of people up there are thinking, maybe not, because this heat wave is just going to continue. And notice how, look at this, 84 in Kansas City and 54 in Chicago. So that's where the winter is, right about there, and it's being pushed back and back and back and back and further back. As I mentioned, the heat wave, and not in addition to all the things I just told you, they have a fire weather warning because it's so dry out there now. They don't have a lot of heavy wind right now, but everything is at arid dry. So from the Panhandle all the way to Arizona, they've got extremely dry and extremely warm weather. For us, we're okay, and of course the afternoon sea breeze is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's quiet in the morning, and then in the afternoon, as the land heats up, the ocean air comes in, gets up to about 25 miles an hour. We had 28 yesterday. A little bit of low clouds out there this morning. And we look to the future and say, is there anything in sight for a change? Well, a couple of things are kind of interesting. First of all, this is the high pressure over the southeast and the southern half of the country, really. Here's where all the storms are located along that boundary line of the cooler air. Now, as we look at the dry air, we don't have a chance of anything right about now, so that's the short term. What about the long term? Well, this is short term as well. Today, a few isolated thunder showers in way far west Texas because of the intense heating. But as we look at Future Tracker, here's Friday. Notice that we'll have the low clouds, we'll have the afternoon sun, and in about 2 or 3 days, we're going to start seeing a little change over here on the west coast. And you'll see thunderstorms fire along the mountains of northern Mexico. Every now and then, the upper winds catch those storms and bring them in our direction. So we'll be watching basically the mountains of northern Mexico over the next, well, most of next week to see if any of that storm complex actually makes it into our area. Sometimes they get really going and they travel all the way across Texas. So far, that's the only thing we've got in sight. Sunny, warm, and windy today. 88 are high. Buck days, spring, the carnival, big thing, and of course Mother's Day on the warm side. I backed off on the 90 degrees just to make you feel a little better, but it could be about 90 hovering there over the next 4 or 5 days. We'll be back with more Sunrise coming up right after this.